but we are very proud of the work of our chairman of the Intelligence Committee. We take this to be a very sad time for the American people, for our country. Impeaching a president or having the investigation to impeach a president is not anything to be joyful about. I don't know that anybody's joyful, but it is a sad time. And as you've heard me say over and over again, in the dark days of the revolution, Thomas Paine said, the times have found us. We think the times have found us now. Not that we place ourselves in the category of greatness of our founders, but we do place ourselves in a time of urgency on the threat to the Constitution, a system of checks and balances that is being made. They fought for our independence. They declared independence. They fought and won. They established a democracy. Thank God they made the Constitution amendable so we could always ever be expanding freedom. And we see the actions of this president being an assault on the Constitution. Once we had his even admission to that, we had no choice but to go forward. It's hard. We want to weigh the equities. We want to be fair as we go forward. And we couldn't be better served than by the leadership of our chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, and it's my honor to present him to you now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for leading the entire House of Representatives through this very fraught time in the history of the Congress, indeed the history of the country. I also want to express my own condolence once again to the family of Jamal Khashoggi, who bravely sought to advocate for free expression in Saudi Arabia, and it cost him his life. We are deeply in his debt, and we are determined to bring about justice for those who were responsible for that heinous murder. It's also an appropriate time to recognize the danger facing journalists all over the world. In terms of the issues that we've been focused on this week, I want to give you a brief update of what has transpired really just within the last week. Last Thursday, the Intelligence Committee held an open hearing with the Acting Director of National Intelligence. The following day, Chairman Engel issued a subpoena to the State Department in close consultation with myself and Chairman Cummings. We are deeply concerned about Secretary Pompeo's effort now to potentially interfere with witnesses whose testimony is needed before our committee, many of whom are mentioned in the whistleblower complaint. And we want to make it abundantly clear that any effort by the Secretary, by the President, or anyone else to interfere with the Congress's ability to call before it relevant witnesses will be considered as evidence of obstruction of the lawful functions of Congress. And more than that, will allow an adverse inference to be drawn as to the underlying facts. That if they are going to prevent witnesses from coming forward to testify on the allegations in the whistleblower complaint, that will create an adverse inference that those allegations are in fact correct. On Monday, I issued a subpoena to Rudy Giuliani, again in consultation with Chairman Cummings and Engel. We expect Mr. Giuliani to comply with the legal process we are using. He is obviously a key figure in all of this by his own admission as well as by the allegations in the whistleblower complaint. Today, and just within the last half hour, Chairman Cummings noticed a subpoena that will go out later this week or next week after the notice period has expired, that committee intends to subpoena documents that the White House has been withholding from Congress. We are obviously coordinating very closely with Chairman Cummings on that. On Thursday, Ambassador Volker is scheduled to appear before our committee. And on Friday, the Inspector General of the IC, Mr. Atkinson, will appear before the committee and testify as well. The last time that the Inspector General testified, we did not have the complaint. We now do. And we certainly intend to ask the Director about the efforts that were made to corroborate that complaint, which we now know the Inspector General found both credible and urgent. Next week, we have also scheduled a deposition or interview with the former U.S. Ambassador Yovanovitch to Ukraine, and we are in discussion with other State Department witnesses to secure their depositions. So we've been very busy, as you can tell, this week. We're going to be very busy again next week. We are proceeding deliberately, but at the same time, we feel a real sense of urgency here that this work needs to get done, and it needs to get done in a responsible period of time. Thank you.